I want the whole world to know what he had done for me.
Chantel Peterson is talking about a man she helped to lay to rest, a man named Terry Farrell, one of the 343 firefighters who died trying to save lives at the World Trade Center.
Terry gave me my life.
No, this 13-year-old from Las Vegas was not rescued from the Trade Center. This special story goes back to 1993, when little Chantel was suffering from potentially fatal T-cell lymphoma. She desperately needed a bone marrow donation. Enter Terry Farrell, a robust father of two from Huntington, Long Island, a total stranger, and a perfect match who happened to be on a national donor list. He gladly gave his marrow.
It feels good to know you did something you chose to do, and somebody's alive today because you did it.
He was just a low-key guy. He always was out to help people. He loved the fire service. He loved training new guys. He really didn't take a lot of credit for anything he did. He was kind of funny like that. So we found out about the bone marrow, in fact, because he did a story, I believe it was Bill O'Reilly way back when. And the reason we knew about it is because he called my brother Dennis up. Terry's VCR was broken. He wanted to tape it for his kids. So he asked Dennis to tape it, and Dennis calls me up and says, "You won't believe what's on TV." And I look. He didn't even tell us he was going to do that. And in those days, I don't know what it's like now, but it was a very painful procedure. He didn't mention it to anybody. He just went out and did it at his own expense. Fortunately, it worked. I reacted really well because the reason Terry got involved in the first place is because my son was diagnosed with leukemia in 1989. So when this opportunity came about for Terry, he jumped on it as a way to get involved. And he got involved big time, and he saved the little girl's life. And since then, two of my brothers run the blood program for the Terry Fund, and we've had some real success with it.
A year later, Chantel was pronounced cured, and Terry was delighted.
I asked how Chantel was doing. He said, "Well, she's running up and down the block." I said, "Like a normal 6-year-old.
Chantel, this is your Mr. Nice Man.
And when at last they met, it was a friendship for life between the grateful little girl and the fireman who knew just how precious life is.
We work in a dangerous profession, and you know, one day you might walk out the door, you might not come home again.
For Terry, that day was September 11th. Chantel will never forget how she got the tragic news from her mom, Sherry.
She said that they had found his body, and I start smiling, and I go, "Is he okay?" And my mom said, "No."
My brother Dennis at the time was head of Nassau County Police Homicide, and called me up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and said, "Have you talked to Terry today?" And I said, "No." But he probably got recalled, you know, like the other guys. So he said, "Nah, I don't think so." I go, "No, I'm telling you, it didn't work. He had to work Sundays. They wouldn't let him work back to back. They don't do that anymore." He goes, "No, we just got the list from the city. They're asking us to bring body bags in, and Terry's name is on the list." That's impossible. And then I reached out and found out that Terry had made a swap on Sunday into Monday. And
Chantel desperately hoped she could save Terry's life, as he had saved hers.
She was getting ready for school, and she says, "Mom, is something wrong with Terry? Do I need to give him some blood or something?" I wish I could have told her yes.
And so the Petersons made the long trip to Long Island for a final farewell to Terry, whose own children, TJ and Rebecca, mourn the man they remember as a devoted dad who always found time for them.
I'm sad and angry at the same time because my hero was killed.
Chantal gathered her strength to give a reading at the funeral service for the man who saved her life.
I felt his warmth and just trying to prove that I could be as brave as he was.
This is a medal Chantel will always treasure. It came from Terry's uniform, a memento of courage she'll always keep from the man who never made a big deal out of what he did for her.
I want him to know that he really was a hero, as all the guys were, because you had to be there that day, not the aftermath that everybody sees on the news and all that, but that day when it first happened, They knew people were going to die. You're just looking at the building. There was no way to get out, and they went in. And I got to tell you, I don't know if I would have done that.
I don't go out and start telling everybody, yeah, pat me on the back, I'm a great guy here. It's like, because there's people who know I'm not that great all the time.
But there's a young girl from Las Vegas who would disagree with those words when it comes to Terry Farrell, for whom Chantel has some final words of her own.
I won't forget you, and I will always love you forever.